We look out our window, we see a ton of traffic and haziness and a lot of traffic of people just trying to leave. The eastern sky was glowing orange because the fire was getting close, and we can smell it pretty bad, and it was actually affecting your asthma.
The Santa Ana winds are insane.
Yeah.
They will I was up all night the night before because the winds just kept heading things into.
Welcome back to the Awkward Tea Party. It's been a while. It's been crazy busy here.
Yup.
Especially with dealing with how the year started for 2025. Lots happened since then. We'll cover a lot of topics. We'll probably clip it here and there. I think the first thing we're going to talk about, let's talk about the fires.
Oh, God.
We were evacuated from
here
because we were near the Eaton Canyon fires, or the Eaton fires. We call it Eaton Canyon because
it's right there.
It's like right there. It's a pretty popular hiking trail, and we were actually on the way. The way we found out about the fire was we were actually on the way to go to the laundry.
Yep.
And we heard a bunch of sirens as we were getting laundry ready. A lot of cops and fire trucks just rushing, and we thought it was like a really bad, like, I don't know, criminal or something.
No, it was because it was also like Santa Ana wind season.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, the Santa Ana winds are insane.
Yeah.
They will I was up all night the night before because the winds just kept heading things into the window. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, so the winds were still going. And so like there was a bunch of downed trees and stuff. So we thought it was downed trees and you know, like someone fell a tree on someone, like at the very worst of it.
Yeah, just like transformers falling or things that need to get fixed.
Yeah.
But or I at least for me, I thought there was like a big drug bust that happened or some shit. Yeah, it was definitely a windy morning, and in that morning we saw the Malibu fires happening. Like, fuck, that sucks. But you know, once you're kind of used to dealing with wildfires, but especially if you're growing up in LA, but but usually it's most of them are at a distance where it's not like close to home. Yeah. Malibu is getting closer to home. Close, but it was closer to home because there's a lot of homes burnt down. There's been instances before. I remember growing up, or I think it was in college, where the wildfires were so bad. It was all the way from San Francisco, connected all the way down to SoCal. I thought that was bad.
Yeah.
But
wasn't there one in those mountains like a couple years ago that was happening in the middle of your stream?
Yeah, there was one that happened a couple years ago in the middle of I forgot which one that was, but it was I got the evac warning then, but I didn't have to evacuate. But this time around, it was different because I forgot something about the wind pattern was very different.
Yes.
Usually, there's two streams of wind that causes it to go, I think, westward, and I think this one didn't have that, which made it which is why we had much stronger winds coming from the north.
Yeah.
That. It was honestly the strongest I've ever had. One of the strongest experiences. I mean, a previous one was like 2011, where a good chunk of LA was without power.
Oh.
I think was it 2011, maybe around that. I know it was before. I think it was before Jordan was born. It literally felt like I was driving. So my experience of that was power went out. During rehearsal, we all went home. While we were all driving home, like it felt like an apocalyptic scene because trees were down, streets were empty, trees were all over the place, and I feel like that kind of became it was just kind of overall crazy, and then fast forward to now, similar situation, very high speed winds. But the power line that I guess wasn't turned on because of how fast it was. Turned off, sorry. Somehow
It started sparking.
Started sparking, and then it caused a fire, and then our kind of witnessing of that moment in time was as we were heading back. Oh no, we were on the way to do laundry, but we were going south, which was the opposite of where the fire was. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if we were driving north, we probably would have seen the fire sooner.
Yeah.
But we were on the way to do laundry, which was south. Completely different direction from where all the chaos was. Mm-hmm. We got to the laundry place. We were ready to go because we needed new clothes, all that stuff because we're dancers and
Lauren had a trip.
And Lauren had a
that
trip.
weekend.
We needed to help her get ready for it, so we were trying to get everything cleaned
sure
up
she
and ready
had
to
clean
go.
clothes.
Yeah, so she had clean clothes. But the winds from that Santa Ana winds, so the winds had destroyed one of the doors from the laundromat when we had gotten there. So the guy closed it because it was busted, and he wanted to focus on fixing it, and we were turned away. And then, fortunately, it was kind of annoying because then we'd have to fix it the following day. But as we were driving back, we saw the fire, and then I realized, like, oh, that fire is on this side of the hill.
Yeah.
Or the mountain, and that's close.
Yeah.
And then as we were driving up, we were probably maybe half a mile away from home. Mm-hmm. That's where we got the evacuation warning, and then that's where we booked it.
You started packing. Like the power was still on as this was all happening, and I was like shocked that the power was still on. But you know what? It was kind of nice being able to pack with power on, and then eventually the power went out, and then we just relied on we grabbed flashlights and a lantern and like our phone flashlights, and we just started to just grab everything we could. The car wasn't Tetris properly, so technically we could have put more in the car, but there was just no time to organize everything. The only thing that was important was your your computer and our electronics were protected, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then we just grabbed clothes and figure out what to do from there.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy just because once I immediately got impatient because people were fucking slowing down to look at the fire, and they were just literally in my way. They were slowing us trying to get home to get everything, and then they decided to fucking slow down.
They don't have to go home and pack their own stuff and their families.
So that really fucking pissed me off because I don't know. I hate rubbernecking. I avoid rubbernecking at all costs because one, it's a sucky moment in that person's time, and two, you're fucking wasting other people's time because your curious ass does not know how to mind your own fucking business and go about your own goddamn day. That shit pisses me off. Mind your own business. Let the person go through what they're going through, because that's what if it's a car accident, it's a shitty moment in their life. Mm-hmm. The last thing they need is more people fucking just gawking at them as if you're gonna watch, fucking go help. Other than that, get the fuck out of the way.
I get that your drive on the freeway is boring as hell, and so is your life, but don't use someone else's car accident as your story. I'm like, oh, so here's what happened to me. I'm like, nothing happened to you.
Yeah.
You saw something.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that should piss me off. So once we got back, like what Max said, Tetris as much as possible. I don't, and that's where we realized how inefficiently packed we were. It took me 5 unnecessary minutes to get my computer and just packed up because the table I had was just complete garbage. It was something that I got for a super cheap price from Facebook Marketplace when I first moved here, and it wasn't really well put together, so I had just tape and weights trying to keep it together, and that would prove to be a huge fucking mistake and a waste of time because the wires and everything were unnecessarily tangled. And I decided to fucking get rid of that thing.
Oh yeah, and the way to access it was through the top and not through the legs, because the legs were entangled or crisscrossing each other like this, and your computer was yay big, so you can't just pull it out. You have to pull it up.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was an L desk that didn't have an opening at the corner. It was 2 legs crossing it, so it was kind of in its own little fucking prison in a sense. Which made it hard to clean it, and even harder to get out because I had to. In order to reach it, I would have to move my screens, my hard drives, and everything just to reach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then not only that, get all my hard drives. I have like 8 to 10 maybe hard drives of work, backups, and everything, and I don't have a whole lot of like space to put them in into a safe area.
Yeah.
So and then we threw that in the laundry basket, covered it because
blankets and
everything,
pillows and stuff.
so that way it was safe. Because I didn't want to like.
That's our work.
I was trying to prevent any work from being lost. Yeah, and then as we were packing up, like Max said, like the lights eventually went out, but the way it was, like as we were packing, like it's like a moment if you see those. It's like the moment in the those apocalyptic movies where you're watching it from the outside, and there's a whole bunch of chaos, and all of a sudden the power grid goes out, and you see light, like house by house, the lights go out, and it was just like that. And then we look out our window, we see a fuck ton of traffic, and haziness, and a lot of traffic of people just trying to leave, and also it was snowing ash.
Yeah.
So and it was a wild picture to see, and not only that, it was evening at this point, so the eastern sky was glowing orange because the fire was getting close, and you can smell it pretty bad, and it was actually affecting your asthma.
Oh yeah,
so
I was just coughing up a storm, just trying to get out, and I'm just like, okay, like most of the stuff's like packed, car's packed. I'm like, I'm gonna sit in the car now. While I was sitting in the car, and you were like getting some more, like you were getting a couple shots from like outside of the house.
Yeah.
And like
we're still filming.
Yeah.
Trying
and
to document it because
doing a last second
history.
sweep. Like you did like a final like sweep before leaving.
Yeah.
An Amazon truck pulled up in front of the car.
Yeah.
Like we were the only car parked at our curb at this point, or maybe like our next door neighbor too, which we were like, y'all need to leave too. But they left. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was just like an Amazon truck pulled up, and like this guy, I literally saw this guy walk out of the truck with a package and go not this next door, but like the next like apartment complex over, and deliver something there. I'm like, homie, no one's there.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn Amazon, you're just letting your people, like, you can't even let your people come like, hey, there's a fire where I'm at. Can I go back?
Yeah, and
can I like not make this delivery now?
Our neighbors too. Our neighbor went up to us like, they said the winds are getting pretty bad, right? I was like, we're leaving now. There's an evac order. We need to go.
Well, she also walked out with a mask, so I'm assuming she knew that there was a fire.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, no, you and your family need to leave because they have
an elderly.
An elderly there. This is not safe to be at right now, and you're just putting her at risk.
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole. And that's just like the first day.
Not even
dealing
day.
With all
That was the first 20 minutes.
20 minutes, hour, and then getting out was a pain in the ass because of all the traffic and because the power was out. So, the cross streets and whatnot, people were trying to abide by the law. It was just chaotic traffic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we had one of the members from Temper Tantrum. They let us stay at her place for maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
That was like 3 weeks.
So okay, yeah. So grateful for them, and I've shared this plenty of times on my channel that in regards to this, that for them, grateful for them for letting us stay at their place when we needed it. We were trying to the first night when we got to her place. There was also another thing that popped up, which was the Hearst fire.
Hearst fire was the one that's closest to them.
Yeah, and then we were getting ready to evacuate again because they were given the evac warning.
We rearranged the cars.
Yeah. Before we even went to.
We had to go to Lawrence.
Before we went to Katz. Yeah, we went to Lawrence
because we had to go. Like we had to regroup. Lauren wasn't here. Lauren was at work the whole time. Lauren worked in town, which was where Lauren's job was pretty much south and like kind of out of the way, which good.
Yeah.
Like at least we know she's safe.
But you can still smell the fire.
You could still like it started getting worse. We couldn't even open the doors without like putting your whole back and ass into it. Like those doors normally open like it's just glass doors. Like you open it this way.
But keep in mind the winds were still fucking blowing.
Yeah.
While the fires were happening.
Yeah.
And so like just driving through the neighborhoods and then dealing with the rough winds and hoping to God a tree doesn't fall on you.
Mm-hmm.
And like she said, once we got to Lawrence, the simple glass doors were really hard to open.
Yeah.
It became a little bit of an arm and back workout. That's how heavy it was. Fortunately, she didn't have to deal with any of that. She just was working. But you can definitely hear the wind. Mm-hmm. We were regrouping, trying to plan things out of what to do, especially since she had a family trip.
Yeah.
Planned like a year ahead of time.
Yeah. So she's definitely going.
So we were trying to figure out like how to make sure that her stuff was safe, and what she was gonna do, like game plan while she was gone, game plan when she comes back.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, thankful for Kat keeping us there.
Yeah, we also had a couple like
place.
Friends that have like texted. They were like, "Yeah, hey, it's more of a at this point. It's just like we basically are like what we were trying to do like as we were regrouping at Lauren's office was just which one of our friends are we imposing on?"
Yeah, because not only that were we affected, like a handful of other friends were affected as well.
Yeah,
like
they were on alert too.
They were on alert. Brandon, the artistic director of Temper Tantrum.
Oh, yeah.
There was the Sunset Fire. I think that happened the following day.
Yeah, basically the following
day. Oh yeah, because Lauren was out at the trip at that point.
Yeah, Lauren's already gone by then.
So the following day or 2 days later, like there's a Sunset Fire, and his point of view sounded a little bit more post-apocalyptic than ours because his was happening in Hollywood. And one of the key things he told me as he was going through his experiences that people asked him, like, "Are you still here? You need to go." And then as soon as he stepped out of his building, people were fucking running. The sky was glowing. Mm-hmm. So he fortunately he doesn't live too far from his work. Mm-hmm. Got there and he was not prepared. He wasn't sure what to pack, and then he got the phone alert, and then not only that, he got the phone call from whatever emergency system.
Yeah.
This is like
an automated call.
Automated call. This is an alert. You need to evacuate.
Los Angeles County. Blah,
and
blah.
He was trying to stay calm, but those alerts were just stressing him out even more because he was trying to figure out what to pack. His neighbors, I think, were in a panic as well because they never have gone through anything like this.
They're probably not from here.
Yeah, they weren't. So they were equally as panicked.
Yeah.
So he had to evacuate as well. Mm-hmm. So I think what made this whole thing, I'd say, different from all the other fires I've witnessed growing up in LA County was the amount of friends and people I knew who were affected.
Yeah. Because
they all had evac warnings, and a handful of people had to evacuate. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the things I'm grateful for was with everyone in Temper Tantrum was everyone reached out to each other.
Yeah.
Like to check in on each other, offering their homes. Mm-hmm. We have one of the members who live up in the mountains offer her home. She's like, "It's snowing up here. You guys can get away from the fires. The air is fresh."
Listen, I do not miss winter weather at all, but the second I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I'll take that over fire.
Yeah, a couple of our members took them up on that offer, and they went snowboarding, which was, I'm grateful that they decided to do that. But I'm like, for me, we have our stuff in the car
here,
and I don't want to drive, like, particularly. I was pretty protective of my laptop, not my laptop, my computer. That was already fucking broken.
No, not yet.
Yeah, it was.
It broke towards the end of our time at.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Because I was still able to work for a bit.
Yeah, you're working.
And then I was trying to protect the hard drives, my computers, and I didn't want to drive up to the mountains
with all that stuff.
So.
Because the way up to mountains is windy.
Yeah, usually. But yeah, and then once we got to Kat's place, Max, Lauren, and I, we accepted the fact that we may have to look for a new place.
Yeah.
That we
don't know what was happening here.
So we started apartment hunting, because shit.
Yeah.
I accepted that at that point at the evening that the fire had consumed our home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Oh, you had to come back here too, like while we were at Lauren's.
Oh yeah, sorry. Our
documents.
We're remembering bits and pieces.
Yeah.
As we're talking about this, yeah.
This is in January.
So while we were
April.
While we were at Lauren's, I actually had to stop by back here to get our passport and other important documents.
Yeah.
And while we were at it, I got our other important documents. I packed up. We mainly packed up like work-related shit, some clothes, some memorabilia, but we completely forgot about.
Oh, I didn't even grab memorabilia. I didn't grab any of my memorabilia until we came back after
like a few days.
Because one of our members, Richie, was going to work, and he was like,
We'll get to that. Yeah. So, we'll yeah. So I got some of the documents that we needed, like birth certificates and
Lauren's
all that.
passport.
So Lauren's passport. So and then. We were just keeping an eye out for a while. What was it? Watchdog?
What
was it called? I haven't used it in a while.
Me too.
Watch Duty.
Watch Duty.
Something like that. So shouts out to Watch Duty.
Yeah. This entire app was like a lifeline for so many of us.
Yeah. So we were.
I even had like family from like the East Coast downloading that so they can get alerts. So because I've been like bad at like, I'm here, this is happening. They're just like, okay, well, this is the fire by Max's place.
Yeah. And then I was getting calls from my family, seeing if we were okay, seeing if we needed anything, and and it was kind of cool seeing how people come together, like friends donated. You made a post.
I made a post. I normally just because I did not expect anything. Like I knew family was going to help because family, but I did not expect anything from just like I wouldn't say strangers from the internet because the people that like responded to it were friends and like acquaintances of ours. But I'm like, I just put out that like we're good, we are housed, we are fed, we're fine on that front. Like all we probably need like our. I was reassuring people like our home is still standing.
Yeah.
It is fine. Most of our stuff is maybe fine.
Yeah.
But like what we do need is just stuff for like cleanup stuff and like air purifiers is the most important. And then people were just like, okay, here. Like I would get like $20 here, $20 like $40 there, and then like family gave like a couple hundred, and I'm just like, this is a lot. Like I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Because we had to get like actual like respirator masks and not just N95s. N95s we're not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Especially for me.
Yeah, we got shouts out to Gary because when we started
Granger.
Once we got the money, we went to Granger, which was pretty close from where we were staying at. He walked us through on how to properly put on one of those gas masks.
Yeah, those respirator masks with like
masks,
the filters.
and how to put it properly. All that stuff, walked us through. Shouts out to him, and which was super helpful because even through some of the first few days away, I still smelled smoke. Like I still smelled like felt like we were there, and even though I changed clothes, I still smelled just like I was still there.
Yeah.
And then when we came back a couple times, like before we were actually able to start moving back, it still smelled like it. The fire on our side of the mountains, it seems like it had subsided.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything. I think every time we'd go here, it was more like a mission. Like we didn't like the earlier first few days or first week, we'd come here just to check on the house. So after, like you said earlier, like our friend Richard was.
He was going to work.
And
he said, he's like, hey, like, I'm going to be passing by your area, like possibly, like, is there anything you need? I'm like, I just want to know if the house is still standing, dude. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, okay. I sent him a picture of what our place, because he's never been here. So I sent him a picture of what our place looked like without, a fire. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like if it's not on fire. and he sent videos, he sent like pictures. It was like, it's still standing, and he said something about broken glass, but it turns out it was just like a glass pane that was already just kind of loose in the front, and that was the only thing that got broken. Our big ass window in front of Emeroy's computer did not get broken, which is good.
Thank God.
So yeah, and then we decided like immediately, like let's go. Let's check it out.
Yeah, we came back. We would come back every day, every other day or so. The first few trips we'd come back to get any additional things we could potentially need, any additional memorabilia, anything we might have overlooked,
more underwear,
any other equipment that I didn't grab that I didn't think that was necessary. And then after that it became more like maintenance in a sense, kind of like because we were hosing down the house to make sure to help out.
I mean it was definitely, the fire was definitely going the other direction at this point, but it was still very windy, so that direction could change at any second. So I just didn't want to I wanted to mitigate any sort of risk, so I literally just soaked the house every time you were here.
And what was crazy too, though, we were the end of the line for the evacuation. Across the street were just evac warnings. People were acting like nothing was happening,
walking around with their kids outside without their faces covered.
Or if their power was out, they had generators. As if there was nothing. Even today, there's some, what do you call it? There's people that, what do you call it? Yeah, even today there's people that say that the air is still not safe. There's still asbestos in the air just because it's not being picked up and all this stuff. It's still not safe. We're not wearing masks as much as we're not wearing masks anymore, so we're probably gonna feel it sometime down the road. But definitely when we were moving back, we got an air. What was it called?
Air quality monitor.
Thank you.
But it's probably not picking up the
asbestos or anything. But it definitely was on the red when we first moved back. It was very bad. But a lot of it just became let's get through these weeks, and just wait until we were just waiting until it was safe to come back. Because I think we got to a point where the fire is a little further away from us. It's not gonna. Doesn't seem like it's coming this direction anymore, and it was just a matter of time. What do we do to, one, try to recover? What do we throw away? What do we keep? How do we financially recover? Because it's a whole month's worth of work gone, and some damages here, plus some damages.
And we just had to clean this whole thing by ourselves. I essentially had to do the work of what professional cleaning would have been after a fire. It is always recommended to get professional cleaning.
I still think there's a part of me that still thinks we should get it.
But I
but that would mean we have to move everything out again.
Move everything out and do it all again. But that's what we did. We moved everything out, and I was scrubbing the ceiling, scrubbing the walls, and we were I think the first heavy thing that I did cleaning wise was the fridge. The inside of the fridge and the freezer, because then just seeing all the food that we threw out, because a couple days before we had just done groceries, man. We had done groceries. Then my birthday cake was still in there. I cried a little bit through my freaking goggles. I'm like, my birthday cake.
There
was just so much waste. Every single thing I threw, I'm like, this was $20, this was $30. No,
you had to toss everything out. I mean, we tossed the futon out, a good chunk of the front, this part of the house, which was was covered in ash and soot. So we did our best to clean it up. We got an air purifier. We did everything. We got these industrial grade cleaners and HEPA vacuum to try to clean everything out ourselves, because
we have a very hands-off property management. Let's just say that
too. And we got some help from FEMA. But it was enough to get some of the equipment, and then we also I guess we weren't sure as to how much it would be. I still haven't. I think that's one of the things that still I hesitate.
Mm-hmm.
No, two reasons why I hesitate is it's how much it's going to be, how much time are we going to lose, again, to try to take things out, to clean this, because our place is small compared to a lot of other people's, and I'm also, grateful that we still have a place.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a small part of me that still has a little would like that reassurance that
it's clean.
That it's clean. The asbestos is not here, but even then, there's I forgot what, these people that kind of. There's this. I feel like a fucking conspiracy theorist, saying because we're part of this neighborhood watch group on Facebook, and there was this one guy who just said please be careful of the winds tonight, there may be some power lines that are down, trees that fall. This one dude gave the whole group chat a warning because I think he was a meteorologist.
Yeah.
And then
no one listened.
Yeah, and then no one listened, and so it was one of and he still said the air quality is still not at the best. That we should still technically be wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm not fucking listening. I don't know, man. It's the N95 masks are only good for protecting us from breathing on other people, not necessarily breathing in.
Yeah.
So, and then the gas masks we have are very.
Filters are $30 each.
Yeah, expensive, and it's very hard to not hard to breathe, but it gets heavy on the face. It's pulling.
Yeah.
So.
With prolonged use, it does get your breathing does get a little labored because when the power came back on, and then we started doing longer cleanup days because before we would clean up and then the sun would go down and we had to leave.
Yeah, the initial cleanups were just as long
during
as
the day.
Sun was,
yeah.
As long as there was sun,
we cleaned.
And we always brought our own water, and because the water was still dirty.
Yeah.
There was still no power, so it made no sense, and the air wasn't good. So all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so power came back on, so we were here for a lot longer. We could run the vacuum, we could run the air purifier, we were doing all that. We got a bulk of the scrubbing and cleaning done on the other days. And
we would just leave the air purifier on overnight. We got a couple air purifiers, the big one for here, the small one for the kitchen and the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, but during those long cleaning days, we would take intermittent breaks in the car. Just to be able to take it off and just breathe without them. Having them on was helping us breathe, and not breathe in anything that's bad while we're still cleaning, and all this stuff's flying around as we're cleaning and scrubbing, and I'm just
the chemicals too from the cleaning.
I'm sitting there just I'm sitting in the car already lightheaded, but I'm especially when we were okay, we're getting down, because the power's back on, and then I think they lifted the water safety thing.
Yeah.
They were okay, it's definitely very much time for us to go, to come back and get out of Kat's family's hair. And this my Filipino instincts are kicking in. It's you have no reason to stay here now. Get the fuck out. So I'm just let's get this so we can leave their house.
Yeah, I don't think we were planning on, because the thing is we never knew when we were gonna leave.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly planned.
The initial offer was a night.
One night, and then they said stay, and then she said stay as long as you need, because Kat's family, Kat's grandma specifically, had gone through the Northridge earthquakes, and their home was destroyed, and they were for about a year and a half without a home.
Mm-hmm. They lived at hotels, other people's houses.
So she gets it. So thankfully she was chill. She let us stay. She was so sweet too. She cooked us breakfast every morning.
I know. That was the thing. Is she would cook breakfast, but there's things that she would cook that I know Kat doesn't eat. So I'm so this was for us.
Yeah. And she'd always make just enough coffee.
Yeah.
For either one person or two.
Yeah, because like there was one time you were in Arizona. You still made your trip out to Arizona, and then
Oh my God. Yeah.
and then it was just me and Lauren. But I think Lauren met up with somebody for brunch that morning, so she left a little earlier. And that was the same day that we had that Bollywood gig.
God,
But I woke up for that. Yeah, we were still working,
Yeah.
by the way. I was working. I woke up, and then, Kat's grandma was like, "Oh, Max, there's breakfast and coffee." I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then there's coffee, and I'm like, "Well," she started making coffee after Lauren already left. Kat doesn't drink coffee. And then I like literally poured myself out a cup. It was literally just one cup of coffee. She made me coffee.
Yeah, she was sweet.
Like,
She's yeah, just coming back to like the process of coming back. It wasn't so much like how like woe is me or like because I mean just to add perspective to it, we didn't get it as bad as other people. There's like literally houses like in our street where just one house was burned.
Yeah.
Or like a couple, maybe less than a mile from here, an entire private neighborhood is gone.
Yeah.
Like we were lucky. But so for us, like just going through it is like I have no time for woe is me. It's just like, let's just get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm tired, take a break.
Yeah.
Let's get through this.
Yeah.
The only way we're gonna get back, the only way out of this is through it.
Yep.
So let's just get through it. So that was just like putting together, like getting rid of old furniture.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Asking for help.
Yeah.
Getting new furniture somehow, and then getting replacement stuff. Yeah, Max got this. I think it's a lot more comfier than the futon. It's a lot more chill, and yeah, just getting the support we need to be able to come back and resettle. It took a while.
It did. I mean, it was 3 weeks just to get ourselves back into the house, and then it took another like couple of weeks to like
feel like it was
normal.
safe, or yeah, because throughout that process too, Lauren decided to move into her own place because she's always wanted to have her own place.
She got the apartment way before this was all happening, by the way.
Yeah, so she one of her things is, I guess, her personal milestones or bucket list items was have a place to herself. So she's doing that. She's like literally down the street from us. So we visit and hang out whenever possible, or on Sundays everyone hangs out at our place, as small as it is.
People love it here for some reason.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm grateful we're back.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that it didn't affect us. It kind of, the way we kind of saw it, eventually was kind of like I guess for us, specifically for us, was like a phoenix. Something's gotta like, rising from the ashes and all that stuff. So, and then for us, our time, like we were able to get back on our feet, back to work and doing all these other things sooner. But yeah, I mean, there's also because going back into the coming back, because like we are also trying to recoup the food we lost, so we decided we were hitting up pantries.
Yeah, food pantries, and there's a market in El Sereno, the El Sereno Green Grocer. At that point, they weren't operating as like a market, so what they were doing is they were holding like they call it community give back. So it's essentially just like a bunch of like places would donate like produce, eggs, bread, all that, and like they would just and like you just get in line, sign up, and like pick what you need. And I was like, at that point, it's like technically I could get everything. I get like 15 of everything if I wanted to, and they'd give it to me. But like I'm like, I just want to get what we need. Like there's other people here
that need it more.
Like with like big families, and then especially in that area, like El Sereno is
It's a nice area.
It's a nice area, but it's still mainly Hispanic.
Yeah.
And this is 2025. With the current administration, like we were told to like, okay, here, get your numbers and disperse, because we don't want like you know, we don't want a reason for ICE to be like checking us out.
Yep.
Like, I'm just like, y'all are just giving people food because they lost so much.
Yep.
And like, there's a possibility that like these fucking people would just come through and just start deporting people that they have no right to be deporting.
Yeah. And we stopped at a couple other food pantry places to recoup what we can.
Yeah, in town.
Only what we needed, because some people are like, oh, do you need shoes? Do you need pants?
We're like, no, we're good.
And then they're like, what do you need? Water.
Water. Like, what do you have? Water. Oh yeah, that one where it was that drive-through one.
Yeah.
Because initially we needed food. We wanted to try to recoup like groceries, but when we got there, they just ran out of like the like grocery food. They had like some random pantry stuff. They had like, you know, some mac and cheese and stuff. But they were like, but they didn't want us to like leave empty-handed, because we said no to diapers. We don't have kids. We said no to pet supplies. We don't have pets.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we, you know, they didn't want to send us like empty-handed, so they handed us like a bag of like skincare for like toiletries. I'm like, I'm like, it was nice, by the way.
Yeah, they're getting getting some nice donations.
Yeah, and then like, can you hold that up?
Oh yeah. We were introduced to Ready Water.
To Ready Water, because it's not sponsored, BT Dubs. We just ended up just liking it because they were like
electrolyte water.
Yeah, they gave us electrolyte water because they were like, oh, do you want like electrolyte water? I'm like, yeah, sure, it's water.
Yeah, and then we discovered this has 20 grams of fucking protein.
It has protein and
electrolytes. That's a fucking win.
And
this
then
is my new favorite electrolyte
and then the
drink.
same brand of like protein bars. We were like, this is great. It has fiber.
Yeah, it has 5 grams of fiber, 50 grams of protein. Shit. You know how good that is? It's a good fucking...
So yeah, we were like, you know, they were just trying to like not let us leave empty-handed because they felt bad, but at the same time, like going to these things, one of the other food pantries where we actually had to like get in line for, like in person.
Yeah.
There was a person behind us that like lost everything.
Oh yeah. They were coming from the OC.
Yeah, we're coming from OC.
And they were all, I overheard them saying that they're, because the line was it wasn't long, but it was
starting to get there.
It was taking a while for some of the people to get to us, so he had to call. I think he had a job interview or something like that, so he had to call and to push it to be a little later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was another person saying, "Well, this line, it's taking forever, huh?" And the guy was like, "This is not long.
This is not long."
I was at the Dream Center.
Where's the Dream Center? Downtown?
I think it's somewhere in LA.
Oh, okay.
Close to down. So, close to, I think, K-Town maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, he said like the lines at the Dream Center went around the building. So this is not long.
Yeah.
So and then, yeah, he was rocking a Dina
Strong everything.
Yeah. So he's, again, from what I overheard, it was that he was staying in the OC for a bit. Drove up there to get pantry to recover. There's another family too. As you're leaving, I guess he lost his ID, but he was
either he misplaced it or one of the employees misplaced it.
He was clearly upset, and he was just. And
emotional.
I understand why he was angry, because like, I have nothing. We only have our car, and I need my ID to be able to just do anything.
Yeah.
So like, he needs it. So
yeah.
We weren't around for me to overhear any of that, because we were leaving. But just to hear, the different perspectives.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I don't know. It's eye-opening.
Because we did not lose anything, technically.
Yeah.
If you look at it, we did not lose anything. We threw away stuff even.
Yeah, things were damaged. And
yeah.
But we didn't lose a house.
We didn't lose a house. We still have this, as much as we would like another one, but a different one. But this is what we have, and thank God we still have it.
And then others have, others lost, like everything. And then I can empathize the frustration, especially with ID. You need that, especially with what's happening now.
Yeah.
So
you literally can't do anything without your ID. That's also his driver's license.
Yeah.
Like, he gets pulled over without that, he's even more fucked.
Yeah. So it's the whole experience was very humbling, eye-opening, because it just showed like shit can just disappear in a fucking second.
Yeah. I mean, I've had my fair share of like experiences with natural disasters, most of them water-based. because I lived in the Philippines. Typhoon season happened. I was always lucky enough to be living in an area where it doesn't get flooded.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough to be in a private school where they're just like, okay, let's close it, without like really having to stick to like, well, the government said this, the Department of Education said this. I'm like, we're gonna close the school. Like, let's not send our kids, because I did not go to public school, so my school was pretty far. So even if my area wasn't flooded, I could be going through flooded areas, or like even when I was living in New Jersey, snow, Hurricane Sandy, and the one before that I forgot, but like the worst we got was always, it kept downgrading as it was approaching our area. So like we still lost power. Again, our area wasn't flooded, but a lot of other areas were. Mm-hmm. Like the worst of it was just like no power for like a few days in the winter though. But like I've never been this close to like losing everything. I think for Hurricane Sandy, my family and I were just driving up. That was like what, 2011? Yeah, we were just driving up from Virginia, and the storm was basically right behind us. And yeah, I had a backpack that was packed for the trip, like bathing suits and like tank tops and shirts and shit. And then when we got home, I just emptied all that and then just, like just shoved more like actual pants in and like sweaters and like raincoats and all that, and like shoes, socks, and like I don't even think I had a laptop back then, so I just had to make sure my phone was charged. Life was simpler back then. Yeah, I was just like, like, I mean, we didn't have to evacuate because it weakened before it could even, like, by the time it reached our part of the Northeast. So we were like, okay, just kind of was just us. It just resembled the storms that we used to have in the Philippines. So I'm just like, okay, this is like, like that was the closest thing I've had to, like, something like that I had to evacuate. But this just got super real for me. I'm like, this is like, I can't, like, as you were like driving off, I was like, I'm leaving my home right now, and this might not be here when we get back. So I'm just like, this is an experience that I do not recommend.
Where'd you guys go?
Huh?
Where'd you guys go?
From what? From our vacation?
Yeah. From that, like,
we didn't evacuate.
Okay. Got it.
We didn't even know where we were gonna evacuate if we had to. That was the thing. We were just like, we just gotta go. Like, but where? Because like, where we were, like our part of like the town that we were living in at the time, it was pretty flat and tiny. So like, we wouldn't be able to evacuate in a town. So we had to go to we probably would have to go to like a few towns over. That's probably housing other towns. So that's where we would have been fucked anyway.
Shit.
And like, our closest relatives were in our area, like literally, like,
so y'all would all have been
let's all be fucked together. We had relatives in South Jersey, but like the storm hit them worse.
Shit.
Hurricane Sandy, I think. No, that was Irene. Sandy was the one where it took out the big Ferris wheel at one of the beaches. Damn. Like into the water. But yeah, I we didn't even know where to go. Like, we had an evacuation plan, but the plan did not include where. And like, I mean, for us, technically, our plan also did not include where.
Yeah.
We were just like, we reached out to Tantrum.
Yeah, we just put a text, seeing if I can only imagine how hard it would have been if there was no one for us. We would have had to live in our fucking
in the
car
and then just
figure it out.
Shower at the gym, work at a library, would have been coffee shop.
Yeah, we were really on, I would say, the blessed side of the tracks on this, because we had a place to stay. Mm-hmm. We had friends who were willing to provide.
Yeah. Kat's grandma was like, eat here. And then, I'm feeding you. Eat here. Don't spend money.
How I can only imagine how hard it was for people who had no one here, had to figure it out on their own, had to stay at hotels, had to use up a lot of their savings just for essentials, just to get by. So, yeah. Anything else on this?
No, just yeah, like that was yeah, no, that was a way to start the year. Like a lot of, I was also like in the middle of all that, like I had like some like selfish things were like hitting me. I'm like, oh, we didn't even get to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, cause like the second I had to throw my birthday cake, that was like symbolic. I was like, this is never gonna happen.
Yeah, because
I'm like, I'm gonna have to wait until my next birthday.
We had something.
35 it is, bitch.
We had something planned.
Yeah.
Once Lauren was gone, and we were gonna do our own thing.
Yeah. But,
Yeah. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little like share of our experiences. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing our experiences from the Eden fire, at least from what we recall. It is a little bit all over the place, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Do all the things. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.